So it's Monday, and how many of you hit that snooze button this morning multiple times, feeling like you had lacked motivation to get up after the Easter and potentially Anzac holiday? You know, you were feeling a little bit miffed about getting up to go to work or start work in that business, go to the gym, take the dogs for a walk, or simply even maybe just even have breakfast. Well, if this is you, I can promise you you're not alone. And that there are many out there that feel exactly the same way throughout certain periods of their life, specific days in the week, or even at the end of a holiday after they've broken that routine and consistency to be able to form a habit. So the thing with motivation is that it's really interesting. I personally believe that motivation is a little bit of a myth. For me, I'm not always motivated 150% of the time, and I don't believe that everyone is. But the thing with motivation is that we can set ourselves up for success to be able to change the way that we think about something when we're feeling a little bit like we're down and out and we're not wanting to get up and achieve the goals that we've set for our day, simply by understanding what motivation is and also how we go about creating that internal or external motivation to help us move forward in our lives, our careers, our business, our health goals, our relationships, etc. So this all came about because I was talking to a client last week who said to me, Lou, I wish I had the motivation that you have. I wish I had the consistency, the discipline, and the get up and go to achieve all of the goals that you always set for yourself. Now, it was really beautiful to hear that someone had that thought about me, but it also made me laugh inside because, believe it or not, I'm not always 110% motivated, but I do have some key strategies to share with you today. How about I go about shifting that lack of energy, the not wanting to be able to get up and progress forward towards my goals, and be able to make sure that I've got those steps in place to be able to achieve whatever it is I set out to do. So first and foremost, it comes down to what motivation means to you. You know, motivation can either be internally driven or it can be externally driven when we find an external entity or person or thing to be able to help us find that motivation to work towards those goals. You know, you may have a combination of internal motivation and external motivation. In fact, I would be surprised if you didn't. Because the thing is that a lot of the time motivation comes down to what we value the most. So each of us have got a different values of hierarchy. And what I mean by that is that we find joy and love in different things. We've all got differences about us because we're all unique, and there are all different things or people or, you know, subjects out there that we're going to feel more motivated about and more motivated to work towards, as opposed to some of our other values. So how do we go about understanding our values? Well, what I recommend, if you're not too sure on what it is that you value, just get some pen and paper and ask yourself what it is that I love doing. You know, what do I surround myself with? What do I have in my house or at my desk? You know, what are some key denominators that I can see throughout my life that bring me joy and motivation and help me keep moving forward and focus towards goals? You know, how do I spend my time? Who do I spend my time with? How do I even spend my money? All of these things and all of these questions are going to help give you a starting idea on how it is that you go about understanding what you value in life compared to things that you don't. For me, I really value personal growth. You know, I value learning. I value education. I value friends and family. You know, I value my gorgeous puppy dogs. I value beautiful food. I value my health. I value being able to go on holidays, you know, take amazing trips. You know, that's just a bit of a glimpse about some of the things that I don't need a lot of external motivation because I naturally love doing them in my life. And therefore, I'm always going to get up and want to participate in the things that I value the most compared to the things that I don't. Now, I know that I mentioned there that my health is a high value to me, but it's probably sitting around that, you know, 5 to 6. Although I really consciously try to eat well, I make an effort to get out every day and do 10,000 steps and get some fresh air. You know, I know that I should be going back to the gym, but I've got I'm on a bit of a break at the moment before I get back into that through the winter. So for me, it doesn't come naturally. It's not the first thing I wake up and think about every morning. I wake up and I think about the things that I love, and I think about the things that I should be doing more of and how to make those more of a priority or a higher value in my life so that I can actually get a natural motivation to go along and do those things. So once I understand my values, I can then have a look at where they rank, and I can look at the activities or the experiences that I'm wanting to feel more motivation for. And then what I can do is, by looking at my highest values, I can link my lower values to ensure that I can connect the goals to help find that internal motivation. So knowing that things like friends and family and personal development and being able to contribute and support, they're all high values of mine. So if I was going to use, health for an example, the trick would be to be able to look at what it was I wanted to focus on in my health, and then look at the areas that I'm being challenged by and find the things that I love doing, like a support network, like being able to get some encouragement and some feedback. If I'm looking to progress further, be able to get some guidance from someone. Look at all the things that I have a high value with, look at the things that I've got the lower, use my higher values to be able to link to the lower values to help be able to get, a whole rounded internal motivational drive start going. Another thing to really focus on is, once I know what it is I'm wanting to focus on in whatever area of life it is, to ask myself why. What is it internally going to achieve for me? Why do I want to go ahead and start working towards that goal? What's it going to give me? How's it going to improve my life or improve others' lives around me? What happens if I don't do it? What happens if I do? Ask all of those questions around why it is that I want to start working towards a new goal or achieving something different in whatever area of life I've got. Once I know what my why is, the next thing to do, and I recommend for all of you too, is to set some small achievable goals. Hands up out there who can set goals, but time and time again, they're completely unachievable and you've pretty much set yourself up for failure. I'm totally in that boat, and it's something that I really work towards now, is setting small achievable steps to be able to reach the big goal. Now, if I'm not sure if these steps are achievable, I ask friends or family or people who are in that space that I'm wanting to work towards whether they believe that my goals are obtainable, and then I share with them the steps that I've put in place to be able to achieve those goals, and ask for their feedback. So once I know what it is I'm wanting to work towards, and I've linked my lower value to my higher value, knowing that that's going to encourage me to have some internal motivation, I know why I'm doing it, I've set some goals, and I've put some steps in place to move forward, then what I do is I make sure that I celebrate along the way. We love fun, we love celebration. We've got to be able to pat ourselves on the back occasionally when we actually start doing that work. Because what that does is that anchors happiness and satisfaction into our lives, and we're wanting to be able to continue to do more of that. So that's how I go about setting up success for internal motivation. Now, if it is an area in life that you're wanting to be able to improve and it doesn't have a high value, and you are lacking that drive and motivation to be able to come up with your goals, put those steps in place, then another great thing to do is to get some accountability. Work with someone who has been where you are, who is where you're at now, and ask for accountability, whether that be a friend, a family mentor, a coach, etc. Be willing to invest in yourself so that you have the opportunity to be able to achieve the goals that you've got. The more goals we go about achieving, the more happiness we bring, the more motivation we bring into our lives to continue to achieve the goals that we set in every single area.